The Russian ruble has started collapsing and the Russian economy along with it. The way you can tell this is by comparing the ruble to the US dollar. Since September, the exchange was 88 rubles to 1 US dollar, and now that is closer to 105. A few days ago, it was over 112 rubles for $1. But even now, the ruble is less than 1 penny. This is just over the past few months. Let's look at the long term. When Russia invaded, there was a flash crash of the ruble and then a decent recovery, but it looks like we're approaching that flash crash number again. Something really sad is by 2008, it was only 25 rubles for 1 US dollar. Look at this depressing trend of the value of Russia's currency. On the flip side, the Russian ruble was about 4.2 cents 20 years ago, and now it's again, like I said, under a penny. The cheapest American toilet paper is about 50 cents per roll, so 1 Russian ruble will get you about 1/60th of it, or at least enough for like one good wipe. Now, there are a lot of factors playing into this Russian economic incompetence. Let's dig in. First off, inflation in Russia is through the roof. The official records from Rosstat says it's at 9.8%. The number is actually closer to 22.1% according to Romir. To combat this inflation, the Russian central bank has hiked interest rates to 21%. When America set their interest rates to 5.5%, it almost tanked our economy. This means that there is very little, if not no money whatsoever to float around in the Russian economy, and whatever there is goes straight into the military. Right now, 1/3 of Russia's budget is earmarked just for the military, and they are about to skyrocket tax increases for the overall population. Even more devastating, the central bank monthly repo failed just because there wasn't any demand. Actually, there may have been one firm. If you don't know what a repo is, let me give you an example. Let's say the Federal Reserve gives a loan to Chase Bank, and Chase Bank says, "Thank you very much. Here are some of my securities as collateral until I can pay it off." And of course, since Chase Bank has a loan, they have to pay interest to the Federal Reserve. In Russia, the banks said, "Nope, we don't want any loans from the Russian National Bank. We don't know how high your interest rates are going to be, and we may not actually have any collateral." Then there's the fact that Russia is a non-developed economy. Their main export is oil. 43% of their exports, actually. Guess what? The price of oil is $68 a barrel, much lower than Russia's necessary break-even cost of about 90 to 95 bucks. Their main oil is called Urals oil. Yep, only $67, way below what they need. Their other two blends, Espo and Sokol, still disastrously low. And worse for Russia is that they are actually selling more oil than they normally do. It's just the revenue that keeps dropping. In the month of October, their oil revenue plummeted 29% year on year. And Saudi Arabia may be getting ready to flood the markets with oil as they start easing production cuts. Quoting from the same article, "The kingdom," meaning Saudi Arabia, "has reportedly signaled that crude could drop as low as 50 bucks a barrel." That would hurt American oil producers, but it would look like a calculated death blow to the entirety of the Russian economy. And I know the tankies will come in saying, "Yeah, but China's gonna take care of Russia." Right now, the Chinese yuan is the largest foreign currency that Russia can exchange. It might be the only one, and the Russian banks have been selling billions of dollars of the Chinese yuan to try to keep the Russian ruble from turning into even worse toilet paper. Look at the value of the Chinese yuan. It has crashed again below 14 cents, which is very bad for China. And of course, the China trolls are saying, "Yeah, but the Chinese artificially keep their currency low just to have competitive exports." Yeah, but that strategy doesn't work against an extraordinarily strong dollar. Boom, the dollar strength index is over 100. In fact, it's over 106. So a low Chinese currency and a strong dollar make Chinese imports that much harder to come by. You know what imports are, right? The things that China needs in order to not collapse. Pesky things like oil, food, natural gas. So now China has to buy more expensive imports with a weakening currency. There's very little China can do to prop up the value of their currency to get more imports because they are experiencing deflation on the homeland. Deflation means prices are dropping and the value of their currency is rising, but that's not good. Prices aren't dropping because things are so good. The prices are dropping because there is very little demand in the country. That leads to a recession, if not that, a depression. If the Chinese government tries to prop up their currency to get more imports, then deflation gets worse back home. And if they try to devalue their currency to balance the deflation inside, then they don't get those imports that they need to keep functioning. And that's why China caved to the US threat of sanctions if they didn't shut their banks down to Russia, which they did. The US and the EU cut off Russia's use of the dollar entirely earlier this June. That's why in August, 98% of Chinese banks refused to process payments from Russia, even if it was in the yuan. So no, China is not going to come to Russia's rescue. But what about Russia having a meeting with China to show the Chinese how to evade US sanctions? Russia evaded sanctions the way I evade peanut butter and Nutella sandwiches. I just finished my second one 6 minutes ago. The good news is that a Russian economic collapse doesn't have that much significance because they have such a small economy, $2 trillion. So the GDP of New York is higher than Russia's. It's bad if it becomes a government collapse because they already incompetently handle their nuclear weapons. What do you think would happen if the government fell? I wouldn't be surprised if China, India, Europe, and the United States swooped in if something like that happened just to maintain stability and monitor what's happening with their arsenals. I am the Geo Husar, Slava Ukraine, and my heart goes out to the brave people fighting in Georgia. Thanks for watching.